1 minute until showtime.
Yeah, you think 100 is okay? You think we ought to go for 102? You think? Okay, Gary says it's good enough. All right, we're going to let you off easy today, guys.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, from the world's most famous beach, from where beach racing began, it's the Legends of Racing radio show, live from racing's North Turn Beach Bar and Grill in Ponce Inlet, Florida. The Legends of Racing radio show with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody. Boy, they just warmed themselves up.
They did. Well, they got to today. It's a little bit, this weather, back and forth, but
Yeah, it's just crazy.
but it's
Now,
okay. You get a little bit of the cooler weather.
Yep. Yep, that's for sure. Well, we got a great show today. I was really looking forward to meeting this young man. And remember this day, because you're going to look back in years to come and say, golly, I remember when Dylan Lebeau was on that show, and he was just a kid getting started, and there's no telling where he's going to end up. And he could be another Jeff Gordon or another Kyle Larson. Who would you rather be?
Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson, yeah. Yeah, how about open wheel? You like to try that?
I would, yeah. If it's got 4 wheels and a steering wheel, I'll drive it.
Now, you've driven some dirt, haven't you?
I have not.
Oh, no?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
darn.
driven some 2-seater Indy cars, though.
Have you really?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I bet that's fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Holy cow, we have a lot to talk about today, that's for sure. We got Mr. Dylan Lebeau here, everybody.
Yep. We had his father on last week, and it was such an interesting show that we just thought, hey, we may as well keep it back to back.
Yeah.
And make your mom come back again.
Yeah.
You know?
She's out there.
Yeah. You kind of have that Kyle Petty look when he was younger. Don't you agree?
Oh,
Buzz?
yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I've said that, kind of with the hair going.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit like Daniel Dye, too, with the hair. I think Daniel got a haircut, though. So you're in a class by yourself now.
Yeah, there you go.
That's great. Yeah, so your mom has a traveler with her.
Yeah, she's got a little 2-year-old.
A 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. Kids are cool. Then they got to grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. So, well, how long have you been racing?
I have been racing since I was 14 years old, so coming up on 5 years now.
Really?
Yep.
You've accomplished a heck of a lot in 5 years.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Kind of wanted to do the quarter midgets and stuff when I was younger, but couldn't really afford it. Wasn't really in the budget, and so when I turned 14, I was like, "Hey, Dad, I kind of want to race." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'm not just gonna build you a race car." So he made me work all summer, cutting grass, and bought my first race car.
Really?
That's neat.
I'll be darned.
That was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to admire your dad, and we were very much impressed with your dad, with what he had to say, with how he did his thing, and how he still continues, to do his journey. And Buzz asked you a couple of minutes ago about, whether or not you do dirt. There's really no need in you doing dirt if you want to try to get to the Cup Series or Xfinity or even ARCA, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
With your journey, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same footsteps that your dad is with the Petty driving experience.
Yep.
And we were talking about you just cannot ask for any more experience than what you're getting. The lap time, we were talking, you know where all the divots are on every track that you do the Petty experience with. And that's cool. Tell the audience a little bit about what's at Charlotte, what's at Daytona that you've noticed. Little tongue and groove deals, I guess.
Yeah, so Daytona, I've definitely driven the most. I probably have, I don't know, gazillion laps around there. So, there's a big bump going into turn 1 on the bottom, and you could use it to help turn the car, actually.
Really?
If you hit it just right, yeah. It'll help the car rotate and get through turns 1 and 2 better.
Oh.
And then, obviously, going into turn 3, there's the famous Montoya patch that kind of you don't want to be turning too much when you're going over it because it kind of upsets the chassis a little bit.
Does it really? Now how about there used to be a little bump coming off of 4. Is it still there, or did they fix that?
No, they fixed that.
Yeah, I've never noticed that.
A long time ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only driven it after the repave.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I've never driven it when it was real bumpy.
Okay. Yeah, but would you say Daytona's your favorite, or you got another favorite?
I really like Homestead. Homestead's one of my favorite tracks.
Do you really?
Yep. And we were talking about it also. Kentucky's actually been one of my favorite tracks to drive.
Really?
It's a
Same
shame
here.
they don't race there anymore.
Yeah,
but,
Gary's a big fan of Kentucky.
yeah, it's cool because it's got 2 very different turns.
Oh, yeah.
You know, turns 1 and 2 kind of reminded me a lot of Kansas Speedway. It's really fast. You know, you could run top and bottom, and then going through 3 and 4 is kind of like Homestead actually, where it's kind of progressively banked, and you want to slow down and hit the bottom.
Oh, no kidding. I'll be darned. So you have to convey this to the folks that are going to be driving there, right?
Yeah, and you kind of got to stay on top of it. You know, sometimes driving Daytona, you know, you're just going wide open. You can kind of chill out a little bit, but when you're driving Kentucky, you know, you really got to stay on top of it and hit your marks every lap. Yeah.
Is it kind of hard to get folks to focus?
Sometimes it can be, but you know, you got to remember you're driving a race car with somebody next to you. You know, so you got a job to do.
Yeah, for sure.
You recognize 3 tracks: Kansas, Kentucky, and Homestead. All cookie cutter mile and a halves.
Yep.
I feel like they get a bum rap myself.
Yeah.
But you know, for some reason, NASCAR and even the fan base, they got tired of the mile and a half tracks. Don't know why.
Yeah, I think they produce some of the best racing, and from a driver standpoint, they're a lot of fun to drive.
Competitive. You see a lot of changes in the mile and a half, and that's why I liked it per se. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, and then I've driven Talladega a lot also, so there's a lot of tracks I've gotten to drive. It's been a lot of fun.
Now your dad's at Talladega.
He is. Yep.
And it was what, 27 degrees?
27 degrees. Yeah, he's freezing his butt off. So. Happy to be down here.
Yeah, you get kind of warm in the race car though, don't you?
Honestly, when it's cold, it's awesome because you're not breaking a sweat.
Really?
Yeah, I love driving race cars in the cold. It's amazing.
All right. Now, what happens if you have to make a pit stop? If you know what I mean.
I've only came close to doing that one time. There was one.
That's why they have the pins, Buzz.
Oh, I see.
You know,
So
are they fireproof?
a lot of drivers will wear them.
Yeah, I can say I've never had to relieve myself. in a
Well,
race
that's
car.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought about it one time. It
Oh,
was
really?
Daytona. We were super busy.
Yeah.
It was nonstop, and it was like, man, I got to go so bad.
Well, now, how long is your stint as far as if you start off this morning? Well, you start about 9 o'clock, and then you run till, what, about noon or so?
There's been days that I've had to be in the car all day long. We get
Really?
fuel every 2 hours, so if I can be quick getting in and out, I could do it. You know, get fuel, change a tire. So if you can be quick with it, but sometimes there's not time to be quick. You kind of just got to get fuel and keep going. But normally you can get out about every 2 hours and take a little break. Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. That's very good. It
And
must be.
you're like your dad. You work on the cars as well.
Yeah.
correct?
So during the week, Monday through Wednesday, most of the time, I'm a mechanic, apprenticing mechanic with a gentleman named Doug Howard. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I know the name.
Yep,
Yeah,
he
sure
used
do.
to race New Smyrna, him and his brother.
Yep.
His brother actually still races. I race against his brother.
No kidding.
Sometimes, yeah, there's a picture where I'm up underneath his quarter panel and, you know, racing behind him. It's like, man, if I turn him, it's going to make Monday really awkward. But I'm learning a ton from him. He's very smart. We call him Sensei because he's
Sensei?
Yep,
Really?
he knows a lot, and so
Yeah.
work with him throughout the week, and then on the weekends do the instructing and the driving.
Golly, and you couldn't buy that kind of education.
You could not. Yep.
That's incredible. Do you learn something new every day?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
He knows a lot. He's been doing it since he was my age, and so he knows these cars inside and out.
Yeah. Oh, that's something. Now I understand that these cars are not restricted.
They are not. Yeah. They so actually, when I got the chance to drive an ARCA car last year, you know, leaving pit road, you want to get after it and start building up speed. And
Right.
I was kind of like, man, this takes forever because I'm so used to driving these cars unrestricted, just with a rev limiter is what limits their speed. So.
Yeah. I'll be darned. Yeah. So now you're cleared to run ARCA, right?
Yep, I have a full competition ARCA license.
Hot dog.
Almost had a sponsor lined up last year to run Daytona, but that kind of fell through right before the season started. But
Yeah. Well, it'll come.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be getting that name out there, and somebody's going to come along that believes in you.
What's it take from a financial standpoint to run ARCA, to run Daytona?
It really depends on the team. If you want to do with like a Venturini.
Of course, if you're going to
yeah.
do a Venturini, you're talking big
yeah,
bucks. You know, versus let's just say middle of the field to the end of the
middle of the field, somewhere in the $50,000 range to
it's
run
a lot of
Daytona.
money.
Yep, and then of course 100% crash clause also as well.
Yeah. So if you wreck, you buy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Oh, boy.
And that makes it
that'd be
tough
expensive.
because in the ARCA,
Yeah, especially Daytona, everybody's right on top of each
you
other.
get a lot of
yeah.
wrecks, man. A lot of wrecks.
Yep. So, how many miles do you think you've got at Daytona?
Me and my dad have talked about this. It's
You figure 2.5 times.
and there's some days where you're running 800 miles a day.
Oh,
So
gosh.
yeah, probably over 250,000.
Is that right?
If I had to take a
Oh,
guess.
my
yeah.
gosh. And how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for 3 years now.
Really? I imagine when you got the deal to drive for the experience, that must have been like, the clouds opened up and the voice of God came down and said, "You're chosen."
Yep. Yeah. I was super nervous my first time driving Daytona. There's a video of me trying to leave pit road and I stall it like 3 times. But luckily, my dad's actually who trained me to do it. 'Cause he's kind of the guy out around there. He's been doing it for a long time. So
Right.
he kind of trained me. He was like, you don't got to be. You're not racing. You're just driving. So
Yeah.
he kind of helped coach me through it. And
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Now, you've got 2 championships at New Smyrna, right?
Yep. New Smyrna and an E-Mod. So
Oh,
they're
really?
modifieds with crate motors. So yep, got 2 championships. One driving mine and my dad's personal car, and then another one driving for Bobby Blake.
Bobby Blake. Wow, he used to race at Volusia years ago
Yep.
when we had a car.
Yeah.
How about that? So he's still around, huh?
He is, yep. Yeah, he unfortunately went through an accident and hurt his back, so he doesn't do much driving anymore. But
Oh, really?
he kind of gave me the steering wheel and lets me wheel.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, in fact, on my mouse pad, it's Bobby Blake and the car that we were involved in.
Very cool. Yeah.
Well, that's really neat. And so you notice that New Smyrna changes a lot?
Since I've been racing, I've noticed bumps have gotten worse. Through turns 1 and 2. I know when I started racing, my dad's always like, you got to get down to the bottom. But kind of watching some of these other guys that are really fast, they're not running right down to the bottom. They're running a little bit higher to get away from those bumps and try to keep momentum up now. And I've only really mostly driven cars with crate motors where momentum is key. You only have 350 horsepower, so
Right.
keeping that car rolling through the turn is everything.
Yeah. So
When was the last time, Buzz, that they redid New Smyrna
oh,
Speedway?
man, I can't even remember the last
Yeah.
time they paved it. It's way overdue.
Way overdue.
Yeah.
what
It
I
started out
thought.
as a dirt track.
I did it. I didn't know that.
It was a dirt track, a high bank dirt track, and they brought in some kind of special clay from Georgia, and oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. They didn't know how to handle it, and they didn't know how to wet it down or anything, and you couldn't see from here to your mom away from us, and everybody's leaving just red with that Georgia clay, and they ran that, I don't know, probably a couple of months, and they realized that wasn't working out too well, so they went to asphalt, and it's been asphalt ever since, almost 50 years.
And vice versa on Volusia. Volusia used to be blacktop, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it sure was. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
dirt, then blacktop, and then dirt again. Yeah. So did you ever get itchy to try dirt sometime?
I would. When I started racing, me and my dad, we talked about it a little bit, but I don't think he wants to clean the cars after running. But
He said that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would still. I'm open to it. Like I said, I'll drive anything with 4 wheels and a steering wheel. So
Yeah, that's
if
great.
the opportunity arises, I'll be more than happy to do it.
Uh-huh.
I don't see any way it would be advantageous for you at this point.
Yeah.
Just from somebody who came from the ownership level, it serves no purpose for you. You're too far in, and stay on your journey
Yeah.
that you're in. Is my suggestion. Unless you just want to do it for shits and giggles, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
But it serves no purpose for you to do it now.
Yeah, so did you run Speed World? Have you ever run that
I
track?
have not ran there since I've been racing. They have not had a competition race.
Yeah,
there.
they've been shut down for a while. That's right.
Yeah, I know there was some new management stuff going on, and they talked about it, but it was kind of like, we'll race, but we won't pay you, and I think nothing ever really came of it.
Yeah.
So
Well, you got to get paid.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. No matter how much you love it,
yeah.
you got to get paid. Well, now, how did the first ride come about? Did someone see you or know you and just knew you could do it?
Yeah, so my first ride was actually Bobby Blake. So I started driving my own car, which was a pro truck at the time. So
Oh,
they're
no kidding.
metric chassis with truck bodies on them. So kind of like
Right.
a glorified street stock pretty much.
Yeah.
Started racing that and was doing okay. And my dad and Bobby were actually racing against each other. And became friends because Bobby used to do the Richard Petty driving experience also. So kind of like they bonded over that a little bit, and they became very close friends. And Bobby started helping me with my truck and with my dad's car. He kind of became an asset to us. You know, he was a big help on the setups, and honestly started coaching me a lot through driving with the new style of driving that my dad wasn't really doing yet. And so I know Bobby used to stand down in the turns and watch me go into the turns, and he'd say, "You need to get off the brake pedal. You need to get off the brake pedal." Man, so I knew going into each turn he's watching me, so I better get off the brake pedal. And
But that's hard to do.
yeah. Oh yeah. But he like I said, he had an unfortunate injury, hurt his back, and it actually the first time I drove for him was Speed Weeks, and he had a open modified, so full blown, 700 horsepower.
Oh wow, really?
So yeah, and the track
Holy
was
cow.
the track was wet, and I remember this. I was so mad at myself, so didn't qualify very good, but I got a great start, and going down the back straightaway, I was up to like 5th, and 2 guys spun out in front of me, and I, track's wet, can't change lanes, so I tried to change lanes and spun out, and then someone came and took the nose off. Luckily, the damage wasn't too bad, but
well, that's good.
then we started working on it and converted it into an E-mod, and that's when I fully started driving for him. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it with the E-mod? It's crate motors, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, was that kind of a revelation for you after running a full blown?
A little bit. My dad explained it to me great. He said they're all the same. Some of them you just get down the straightaway faster.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah. So everybody's equal then, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where the real driver comes in.
Yeah.
And the guts come in.
Yeah.
That's what's really cool too. Is you've had a dad, you've got some advice. I mean, just the valuable experience that you've had from your father. Conveying to you everything that he knows. I mean, that's you can't buy that.
No, you can't. And
know.
I'm super fortunate to have all that, and Bobby Blake as well, and a lot of people have helped me throughout my racing.
Sure.
Where do you want to go, Dylan?
If I can drive race cars professionally, if
Tell
that can pay
tell
my...
us what you would like for your journey to be.
Honestly, I really don't mind, whatever it is. If it's IndyCar, if it's NASCAR, if it's driving GT cars, if I'm driving race cars and it's...
Baja or whatever. Right?
Yeah, I'll do it. If I'm driving race cars and it's paying my bills, I'll be happy.
Right.
Yep.
That's pretty neat. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Dylan Lebeau.
All right. Thank you.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Racing's original North Turn is our broadcast headquarters. If you're looking for a good drink, great entertainment, and the best in food, they're right on the beach at Racing's original North Turn. Come on down to dinner tonight. Here are a couple of testimonials. These are actual testimonials from people who have enjoyed the North Turn. Been there many times, always great food and drinks, great location on the beach. And another, what a great experience. It's my new favorite restaurant in the Daytona Beach area, Racing's Original North Turn on South Atlantic Avenue. That's A1A in Ponce Inlet, about 3.2 miles south of the Dunlawton Bridge and A1A intersection. It's Racing's Original North Turn, a restaurant, museum, bar, gift shop, live music. That's Racing's North Turn. Thanks to you, the original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill has been voted top 10 beach bar in Florida year after year after year. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
Hey, all right. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone here and everyone out there, too, checking us out. Even though it's a little chilly here, I can't imagine what some of our friends are involved in up north.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy. And we hope that you're nice and warm and comfy. And you've got our sympathies if you're not, for sure. This segment's being brought to you locally by Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, voted one of the top 5 markets in the country by USA Weekend. Visit our Shop Now network and our Shop Now at Daytona Flea and Farmers Market Facebook page for the latest in vendor tours. And also, if you want to check us out online, you can go to the Legends of Racing Radio YouTube, and you can see the show live. And it'd be nice if you hit subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. And also, an hour after the show, we post it on Facebook. So there's a couple different ways you can check out the show. And then, at Facebook, it's there all the time. So you can go back and check yourself out.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So when do you get to race next time?
My next race will be January 4th, I believe, the first Saturday of January at New Smyrna Speedway. I'll be driving for that gentleman right there, Rick Harris.
All right.
Be running the
How
sportsman
about
car.
a round of applause for his car owner here, Rick Harris. Yeah, very good.
Thank you, sir. I know what it means to this young man. I've been in your shoes, to help somebody, but you must see something in this kid, or you wouldn't even take a shot. So congratulations, and I hope you do well.
Thank
Maybe
you.
Buzz and
Yeah.
I will drive out.
Hey, there you go.
Hey,
Yeah,
that'd be
we've
awesome.
came a long way with that car.
Yeah.
That car started as a, hand-me-down car. Nobody wanted it, so we got it. Rick bought it, and he kind of let me and my dad do our thing with it. And it took us a while. It took us about a season and a half to really start to figure it out and get it right. And this past 4 races, we ran second and third with it. So
Really?
yeah, there's
Holy cow.
only one more spot to get better.
That's super late model?
Yeah.
Sportsman.
Sportsman.
Yep. So
Yeah.
kind of like a limited late model.
Oh, yeah.
Factory. Clip.
Very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
man.
ever be ashamed of that series.
Yeah.
Some
Yep.
great racing goes on there for sure. That's right. So what's your favorite class? Are you still in the E-Mod?
Yep, still running the E-Mod a little bit. Kind of undecided what we'll be doing next year. It really just depends on funding.
Yeah.
But honestly, the Sportsmans have been a lot of fun because, like you said, they're very competitive. Everybody's very close to the same speed, and so everybody's right on top of each other. So the racing's super hard,
Yeah.
And did some pro late stuff this year as well. Kind of some learning curves with that for
Wow.
sure.
I
With
bet
the
that was a trip.
yeah, with the bump stop stuff, that's kind of trying to get my head wrapped around that because it's really just me and my dad doing most of the setups, and we got the conventional spring stuff he knows from all his racing, but the bump stop stuff we're trying to.
Now, is that your own car?
That car I'm driving for Tim Bagnell.
Oh, are
with
ya?
Precision Auto Glass. Yep, he's he's seen something in me as well, and
Golly, that's great.
let me start driving it for him. And
Yeah. Well, you're definitely impressing a lot of the right people.
yep, yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. Even Gary's impressed, and
I am.
He's hard to get impressed.
Yeah, it's hard. I've been through it all, young man. I've been through it all.
Yeah.
But it was a good journey. I don't regret it.
So how often do you do the driving experience?
Just about every weekend. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, just about. This is my first weekend off, so I'm enjoying it with you guys. So
Good.
happy to be here.
We're
But,
honored to have you.
yeah, so kind of really, like I said, through the week, every week I'm working in the shop as a mechanic, and if there's not a track run in Daytona, they'll be sending me elsewhere. I just came back from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Finally got to
Yeah,
drive
that's
that
where
race
you were
track.
last
Yep.
weekend.
Yep.
Or last weekend.
Yep.
How was the weather out there?
It was all right. It was a little cold in the morning, but as the sun came out and got about 60 degrees, it was
Yeah.
awesome. Like I said, it was awesome in that
Oh,
race
great.
car. Yeah.
Did you get to drive any memorable people?
No, not really. I mostly went there to do an advance, which is where someone that has done the experience before driving, they could pay a little extra money and do, the speed the ride drivers do, and they'll follow us.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I got to do
Oh.
about 100 laps in the morning with an advance. It was
Wow,
a good
that's
time.
awesome.
Yeah,
Great, but it never gets old.
never. No.
Wow. Well, what a dream job.
Yeah.
It's
You know
amazing.
what's amazing to me is, Atlanta's a 1.5-mile track also, but it's amazing how they have made that a super speedway.
Yeah, even
It just amazes
Yeah,
me,
even-
with the banking and
even with our cars, it's just wide open around
Yeah.
there. It's kind of gets
it's like
a
a
little
bowl,
boring.
like
Yeah.
a China bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to use the brakes a lot at Vegas?
No, actually not at all. Really, you kind of just got to lift a little bit to get the car to turn in, and then you can get right back on it.
Right. Have you run Charlotte?
I have. Yep,
Yeah.
that's another very fun track. We were talking before we went on the air. There's a very big bump going into turn 3 that if you're not ready for it, it'll scare you for sure. Yeah. So luckily I know that's there now. So if I ever get a chance to race there in ARCA or anything, I know right where that bump's
Well,
at.
that's great. So ARCA's knocking on your door, or you're knocking on ARCA's door, more or less.
Yeah. Really just waiting on the funding. Kind of
Yeah.
gonna work on some stuff. Hopefully get something going
All right.
this year. Yeah.
Do you have a car in mind or an owner in mind?
Not necessarily yet, but
No.
just
Venturini would be nice.
Venturini would be very nice if I get the funding for it. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's double though. That's about 110,000, I think, for
Yeah.
Daytona,
Wow.
from what I understand.
Kind of hard to get that money back too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's really tough. Yeah, that could wipe you out if you weren't careful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then the wreck clause. That's what's dangerous.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, when I went into my first ARCA race, I went and bought a car from the Wood Brothers.
Okay.
An old Cup car. Wasn't old, but it was very nice. It was a Ford, naturally. Got the car back. I think we paid $38,000 for it. This was in 2001. Brought the car back, worked on it, rented a motor from Mark Smith at Pro Motor, put the motor in. I don't know. I think I had total of maybe 73,000 in the car altogether. We get to Kentucky. The green flag goes, and we knew we were fast. We were winning the race. Frank Kimmel came around when there was 8 laps to go, and he turned us.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We ended up finishing 8th. So, back then they had a trailer that you used to go to collect your funds, payout, do the payout, which NASCAR naturally mails it on that following Monday. But I went to the trailer, and the Markham kid handed me an envelope, and I'm thinking to myself, I hope to hell this is $1,000 bills.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, I'm in big trouble. So we finished 8th, the top 10. So we hope to see you next week and all this and so forth. Well, I opened the envelope kind of partially as I'm doing conversation. I see that they're $100 bills. Paid $1,100.
That's it.
So, yeah, that was it for a top 10 finish. Yeah. So I looked at him. I said, listen, Mr. Markham, no disrespect there's no way in hell you're ever going to see me in this series again.
Really?
So that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. So I stayed away from racing for probably a good month or so. All of a sudden, the phone started ringing. Gentlemen from the Cup Series, the Busch Series. Back then, it was the Busch Series, and they wanted to reel me in.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they did. 20 years later. But it was a story to be told. It was a journey. So saw a lot of good young drivers. And this is what's a shame. Buzz and I've talked about this so much, so many times. There's so many good drivers like yourself. That never get to the plateau or to the level that they really deserve to be in.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can name several. Tim Souter, Johnny Souter's older brother, he deserved to be in the Cup Series. He was every bit as good as Johnny, if not a better driver. The list goes on and on. Kenny Hendrick, great driver, raced for me, but they just never could get over the hump. And that's the big thing you have to do. You have to market yourself. If you don't have those marketing skills, you may as well forget it. You're going to be one of those guys. Yeah. So you got to get out. You got to make phone calls. You got to make their journey happen. I can't tell you enough. I can't stress on it enough. You have all the other tools. You really do. But you have to market yourself. And that's the only way you're going to make it.
Yeah, that's one thing we're really going to work on this year is, like you said, marketing yourself. So hopefully before the season starts, we'll have a website.
And I think you have it. This program, we have some kids that come up here and they freeze. They don't know what to think. You're not freezing. You're cool. You're going right through it, right, Buzz?
Oh, absolutely.
I think you got it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You just got to market yourself.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yep. Like I was saying, hopefully by the start of the season, we'll have a Dylan Lebeau Racing website, and it'll be, every week we get updated what I'm racing, where I'm racing at, and kind of so people can, follow me a little bit easier.
Yeah. Try to have dialogue with as many people as you can, on the internet, whatever, because you never know when that one person is reading it. Never know when a guy's got $10 million or $15 or $20 million that says, hey, I like this kid. I'm going to give him a shot, and don't be afraid to ask. You don't ask, you don't get.
Yep, answer's always no if you don't ask.
That's right. Yep. So good luck.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Is your dad's, absolutely. Remember, you're going to look back and say, I remember that day when Dylan was here. And there's no telling where you're going to go.
Yeah.
I think the sky's the limit. Yeah. So you do have your driver's license, though.
I do.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Somehow, yeah.
All right, just checking. All right, no tickets.
No, Is this wood?
Yeah.
Knock on wood. I've never been pulled over. I'll probably get pulled over on the way home today.
But so far you're clean.
Yeah. Yep.
That's great. Now, is your dad still racing?
He does a little bit. There was actually some time we got to race together on the same racetrack when I was driving for Bobby Blake, and he was driving our own personal car. I remember I got to lap him one time. That was awesome.
Ooh,
I'll never let him live that down.
But that was a long ride home.
Yeah. We took 2 separate trucks, luckily. So. But, I ended up winning that race. That was really cool. I wanted to, wave at him and mess with him, but I was getting chased for the lead, so I kind of had to focus on driving. But that was definitely pretty cool. And there was one time, the car I was driving, we were having carburetor issues where on starts it would just sputter and not go anywhere, and he was on the row right behind me. and I'm sputtering, not going anywhere, and I look up in the mirror, and I'm like, oh God, he's gonna hit me. I know it's coming, and he hit me so hard it moved my helmet on my head. I had to grab my helmet and straighten it up. That's how hard my
really?
dad hit me. Yeah.
Holy cow!
He's been dying to do that, and he got his chance. So
Yeah.
I still owe him one back. So I think that's why he's avoiding racing with me now.
Yeah. Wait till he's leading and just give him a little oop.
Yep, that's right.
He's a cool guy.
He is.
I liked him.
He's very cool.
I really did. I was impressed.
Yeah, I know you have a brother.
I do have a brother,
but he doesn't drive.
He does not like. He's not into racing. He's into music. He's a great guitar player.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
be darned.
And I do a little bit of music stuff myself. I'm not quite as good as him, but play the drums a little bit.
Do you really?
Yep.
I'll be darned. Dale Jr.'s a drummer. Yeah, so something to think about there. Okay, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back after this break with Dylan Lebeau.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. At Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees, it's all about making you happy. Beach Boys Embroidery can customize your athletic golf apparel, caps, hats, badges, buttons, magnets, backpacks, bags, totes, clocks, watches, and of course, T-shirts. Sure, they're at 2033 South Ridgewood Avenue in South Daytona, and they're waiting for you to call now. 386-255-5880. Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees. Let Aloha Marine get you on the water with huge discounts on great brands like Bayliner, Carolina Skiff, Hurricane, Key West, and Regal. Pay as little as $169 a month with 10% down and approved credit. Don't wait. Get to Aloha Marine, 1700 North Nova Road, Holly Hill, Monday through Saturday. 47 years and always better than boat show prices. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty. We thank you so much, everybody. I hope you're having a good time out there. Don't forget your wait staff. They're working their fannies off for you. And hope your meals are good. And I hear the food is really, really decent here. Really, really good. And I'm going to have to get me some of that shrimp one of these days. But by the time I get done with my show, my wife's eating all the shrimp. So what am I going to do?
No leftovers.
No leftovers for me. No doggy bags. Nope. Now, this segment's being brought to you by Staples on International Speedway Boulevard. Anything for the office, they can handle it for you. You go in there with a problem, and I guarantee they'll be able to fix it. So we've got Tony. It's Tony time. Hey, Tony. Hey, do you have a question for this young man?
Well, yeah, maybe two, but I thought I saw a picture of you driving the Racing Experience hauler.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, so
Oh, jeez.
I don't have my CDL, but when we load the cars on the hauler, I'll take it for a little spin and do a little circle. Yeah, I don't drive it over the road, but they're a lot of fun to drive. Like I said, if it's got more than four wheels, but if it's got a steering wheel, I'll drive it.
You hear a lot of, or at least from veteran drivers, that the drivers coming up don't have the same level of respect for the cars, for the other drivers. Are you running into that at the level you're racing at?
I've been told that. I like to think that I'm a little better than some kids about it because, a lot of kids, their dad is just funding it, and so they don't care if they wreck. But I know if I tear something up, my dad's going to make me fix it, and he's going to be really mad at me while I'm doing it. So that kind of, changes my perspective a little bit for it. And I know how expensive all the cars are, so I know, if you knock somebody's fender off, I know how much that costs. So I try to be good, but, sometimes with these crate motor cars, everybody's so close to each other, you just can't help it. And so I like to think that I'm better about it, but I have been told that I got no respect or anything like that. Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Well,
Get no respect.
Dylan, there's a lot of Cup drivers, a lot of Xfinity drivers that don't know how to work on cars. Mm-hmm. You do. That's to your advantage too. You understand the handling. You understand the demographics of the setup. A lot of these kids don't. And believe it or not, they do get into the Cup Series and Xfinity, and they don't know squat.
Yeah.
Now, your dad said something about he does spotting Do you do spotting too?
Yep, at the driving experience.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah. So the way we do it now, instead of having somebody in the car with you, it's just radio communication. So you're talking them through driving a race car. So
Okay. Do you find that easier?
I like driving better. It's a
Do
little
you?
it's a little stressful instructing sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
you get somebody that that's real scared. You got to try to calm them down.
Oh, yeah.
So I prefer the driving. For
Has,
sure.
has there been any famous person that's been in the car with you, or that you've, that's done the experience?
This past August, I think it was, I gave Dennis Quaid a ride.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool.
Yep. Yeah, and there's been some other people, but Dennis Quaid is probably the first one that comes to mind.
That's
So,
great. Pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
Was he impressed?
He kind of seemed like it.
Yeah. Oh, that's really neat.
I think I'm going to get a group up for the second race in August. And I think we're going to get 4 or 5 guys from the show here and come out.
Yeah, there
and
you go.
do it,
Come
and
do,
do
yeah.
it,
We'll take care of you guys for sure.
Oh, man, that'd be great.
It'd be a lot of
super.
fun.
Yep. So what are the differences between Talladega and Daytona? Do you notice there's a lot of differences?
A lot of differences, actually.
Is there
yeah.
really?
Talladega is huge. The TV does not do it justice on how much bigger Talladega is than Daytona. There's so much racetrack to run on. You're like, where should I be putting this car at? You got so many choices, and a lot more bumpy. It's a little more rough.
Oh,
for
really?
Sure. Yeah. You have that tri-oval that opens up another lane, but then if you're not paying attention, that lane closes up. You
Uh-oh.
be down on the apron if you're
That
not.
could be embarrassing.
Yeah, you're not paying attention, but quite a few differences for
Yeah.
sure.
That's one of the things that I'm amazed with is that Bill France, in the time, he designed Daytona, and then along comes Talladega. How am I going to change it? Well, he sure the hell
Yeah,
changed
he
it.
figured
didn't
it out for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Yep.
like you said, it's just so massive. It is. And such a devoted fan base. I mean, Talladega fans, it's always a sellout to this day.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, Buzz?
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely. Yeah.
Bristol is no longer a sellout. Nobody's a sellout, but man, Talladega, year in, year out, it is.
Yeah, I remember
for sure.
the day after the race, we were on track with the driving experience, and I was dodging beer cans all day. They were all over the racetrack. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, Daytona was designed by the city engineer, a guy named Charlie Moneypenny, and Bill France told him what he wanted, and Charlie designed it, and it was almost the perfect design. And so then when he went to Talladega, he wanted a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, a little bit faster. But it all came down to the city engineer, Charlie Moneypenny.
I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Buzz, I have a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Lake Lloyd,
Yes.
which is the lake, a small lake inside the track at Daytona. Who was it named after?
It was named after J. Saxton Lloyd, which was one of Bill France's first employers when he first came to Daytona. And he owned a car dealership here, Lloyd Buick Cadillac. And he hired Bill as a brake person, brake master. And he was very instrumental in getting the connection between Daytona and establishing the racing and recreation district in Tallahassee. So he's one of the guys who really, really helped put this thing together. And Lake Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very cool.
I
didn't know that.
understand that Bill France ran everything almost by him. His ideas. I think there's some validity to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, Bill really respected Jay Saxton's opinion. That's the word I'm looking for.
So now we learned a little bit.
I know. Yeah, I can go home now.
Go home.
Yeah. If anybody ever asks you, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. So is there any part of Talladega that's kind of iffy?
It gets bumpy through the trial for sure, but these cars are set up so stable that I've never had a big moment at Talladega where I was like, oh, I'm about to spin out. But a lot of downforce and a lot of tire as well. The tires hold really well. The first time going into a turn wide open for the first time ever kind of messes your brain up a little bit. You think you should lift and hit the brake and turn in, but you're like, nope, I gotta hold it to the floor.
Man,
So.
it would test my testosterone level for sure.
I haven't tried it at New Smyrna yet, but I might try it.
Is that
Okay,
right?
just try- no.
I hear it's kind of hairy. Here it's hairy. Yeah.
Now these are old Cup cars that you guys run, and when I say old, they are old because the new cars have not come down into that series yet, or to ARCA or to the Petty experience yet. So you're driving really the best of the best in the day. 10 years
Absolutely,
ago, this was all there was. Those are cars that Jeff Gordon won in.
Yeah, we have a Jimmy Johnson car. Actually, it's really cool. You know, you can
Oh,
see
boy.
the body. Old Chad Knaus did some work on that thing, and we actually found the video of when Jimmy raced it. He raced it at Indianapolis. It was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
You know,
That's very cool.
there's one thing that I cannot fathom in my brain: 7 championships.
Yeah.
There is no way that that's ever going to happen again. Do you agree, Buzz?
Absolutely.
It'll never,
Yeah.
ever happen again. But for Jimmy Johnson, Dale Sr., I mean, I just can't fathom that
Yeah.
many championships with the competition level that's there now.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially the new playoff. The way the playoffs are now, it's so luck based. You know, you have one bad race and it could ruin your whole year. So.
That's right. Yeah, you dream of cup racing one day?
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but you settle for Xfinity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything. Like I said, if driving race cars paying the bills, I'm good.
Right.
So.
Yeah, another guy that got a start there at New Smyrna is making quite a name for himself now is Daniel Dye, which you remind me a little bit of Daniel with the hair and all that stuff. But did you ever get to race against Daniel?
I never raced against him. When I started, he was running the supers and pros already, and by the time I was about to get there, he was already running ARCA and trucks.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so
okay.
we've crossed paths a little bit, but we never raced against each other.
Yeah, but you know who each other is. Oh, that's good. And you never know where that might lead. You know, there could be a nice connection there, too. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Rich and his question of the week.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Daytona Flea and Farmers Market is still the one for great savings and the best variety. Whether you need flowers and trees for your home or you're looking for great prices on Daytona Beach souvenirs, the market is the place to go. The market features 1,000 booths, 2 air-conditioned malls, a restaurant, and 9 snack shacks. Hops Grill features gourmet burgers and garden blend salads. Treat yourself to a great variety of brat and hot dog creations at the Dog House, or enjoy a refreshing drink at the Seltzer Oasis. The market is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and is 90% undercover, so you can shop rain or shine. There's never a charge for parking or admission. Enjoy our monthly classic car cruise-in on the first Saturday of every month, and garage sale weekend, the third weekend of every month. See all we have to offer at DaytonaFleaMarket.com or like us on Facebook. Discover Daytona's most unique shopping experience, the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, just a mile west of the Speedway. We're back from where it all began, racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty. We thank you so much. We're doing really good here, having a good time here with Dylan Lebeau. And this segment's being brought to you by Homewood Suites by Hilton. And I think you could probably get a room there now. The turkey run is gone. You know, things have slowed down a little bit in town. But Homewood Suites, they have a complimentary breakfast and a complimentary happy hour. And every room's a suite. And it's just a wonderful place to go. So think about that. Rich, what do you have today?
Oh, well, you know, I'm glad to be here today, having heard your dad speak last week. Lots of folks says that's one of the best shows we've ever had, would like to look at it again, and they went home and listened to it. Great information. I think you're doing a better job than your dad, okay?
Thank you very
agree
much.
with that? Yeah. Now, with that being said, you got a lot of old racers in here, and they're looking and saying, wow, that kid is set to go. Gary's talking about it. Buzz is talking about it. You've got the experience. You've got the opportunity. You're learning. You're making your way through. You're young. You've got an opportunity. One of the things Gary brought up was about getting over that hump with sponsorship. That's the real key. Some really bad drivers got good sponsorship and they're out there.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And that's what you want to get over. So you said you were working on it, but you didn't say what you were doing. Can you enlighten us on your sponsorship search?
It really kind of depends on who I'm reaching out to. If it's someone that I know, I'll just reach out to them personally. But within the next couple weeks here, I'm just going to start emailing some bigger companies and with a driver resume, who I am, what I'm doing, and most importantly, how it's going to benefit their company. With the ARCA stuff, the race at Daytona gets broadcasted on FS1. So there's, I don't know how many people watch FS1, but I should probably figure that out. But a lot of people are watching that race, and you're going to get a lot of TV time with that. So kind of really just explaining to each company and how it's going to benefit them, not only just benefiting me.
Well, let me give you one piece of advice. I've sort of gotten into the sponsorship thing. When I was an aspiring young racer like you are, I wasn't anywhere near as good as you are. I wasn't experienced, but I understood the marketing and promotion behind it. You've got to promote yourself in a way as if you were a model. Mm-hmm. You've got to have that portfolio, that book. You can lay it out, pictures with you. It shows what you're doing, what they're expecting. But most of all, you've got to know the racing business and tell them why they want to give you money. Mm-hmm. Most people going for sponsorship say, oh, well, look at me. I'm a good race driver giving me money. And they say, well, forget it. But when you start telling them about the exposure you're going to bring them and how many places they're going to be and the money that will come back, that's what will sell you. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a roadside sign on 95, they rate that in terms of how many pennies per view it costs them. Mm-hmm. So you may be paying $1,000 or $3,000 a month for that sign. And they say, well, what's the traffic by it? You divide that out and you say, oh, I get views. It costs me 3 cents, 30 cents a view. That's what you got to tell your sponsor. So go for it. I'm looking for big things out of you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate that. Good words.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I would suggest if you win that race January 4th, you need to have your ass up and down A1A, up Ridgewood Avenue, and you need to be knocking on doors and tell them who you are and tell them, I had Kenny Hendricks. If we had a great race in the Busch Series, he'd go back to Charlotte. Downtown Charlotte, that's who I am, and he raised money. One time he raised $25,000.
Wow.
Just by going up and down and introducing himself. You have to have people believe in you, and you have the DNA to do that. I really do believe that, Dylan.
Thank you very much.
I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm just telling you, you can do it.
Have you ever run Indy?
The racetrack in
Yeah.
Indianapolis? I have not. That is not one I've had the chance to drive.
Boy, I'd love to try that sometime.
That's a bucket list one for sure.
Yeah. Now, could you do it with the company?
I don't know if they go there anymore. I know when it was Richard Petty driving experience before it transitioned to NASCAR racing experience, I know they did go there. I'm not sure if they go there anymore.
I see.
I did it. It's a hoot.
Oh, really?
Very narrow.
Yeah.
Very, very narrow on the front side. I mean, when you see the Indy 500 start, there's 3 cars in each row, and they're from one wall to the other wall. I mean, I don't know the exact size of what it is, but it's very narrow. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
Looks like that first turn would be pretty tough. It looks almost like a 90-degree, really sharp turn.
Yeah.
Is that how it seems?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It gets a little bit easier as you get into turn 2, come all the way around, But I was impressed with it. I mean, a lot of history there,
Oh, boy, that's for sure. History. Yeah, and but you're making your own history right now.
Trying to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you still have your modifieds?
I do. So that car actually belongs to my dad. I had the Pro Truck, and he had that modified, and I guess I did good enough in the Pro Truck. He let me start driving the modified a little bit before I drove for Bobby. And since then, I've traded my Pro Truck, and I'm working on making a Pro Late model, my own Pro Late model, and we'll run some different tracks with that one. So
all right.
In the process of getting that ready, not exactly sure.
Oh, super.
When the time stamp on that being ready is, but kind of just those are the 2 cars that me and my dad own. Is the modified.
One thing we didn't ask your dad last week was there was a buyout with the Petty experience. NASCAR purchased it. I would think with the deep pockets that NASCAR has, not to say that Richard Petty didn't, but I would think that the maintenance, the car quality, et cetera, is a lot better now than it was, when I drove the cars.
Yeah, so I actually never did the did it when it was the petty driving experience, so I can't really say on that. I believe it's actually just the NASCAR name. It actually goes back to Driving 101, which used to be like the Jeff Gordon racing experience and a couple of those other ones, and they kind of all just merged together.
Dale Jarrett, all of them, yeah. Right.
So I really can't give you a definite yes or no answer on that because I was never really
I
around
meant
it.
to ask your dad that last week because I'm sure he could have answered a little bit better. You know.
Yeah. Now, when you first started driving, did they have to teach you basically?
Yeah. So kind of it's funny you asked that because the other day someone was like, they were talking about, everybody that works there wants to be a driver, obviously. And,
Sure.
And someone was like, so what, did you just get like kind of thrown in because your dad's it? And I was like, no, not really. I had to work pit road for 2 years. So
really?
Yeah, put in my time, did pit road for 2 years. And then my dad, me and him did about 3 or 4 days of just training before I ever gave anybody a ride. Yeah, so kind of started.
There's definitely a format.
Yeah. It's not just jump in and drive. Yeah.
Interesting. That's something else. So you had to go to school.
Pretty much, yeah. My dad rode in the right seat with me. I don't know why I do that. He's crazy, but he talked me through it. So.
Did you scare him?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I have to tell you though, Dylan. Your dad. I was talking to him after the show, and I said, okay, everybody thinks that their son's good, okay? And I said, what do you really feel here? I said, you must see something in this boy other than just being your kid and having aspirations for him to be a race car driver. And he thought about it for a minute. He said, he said, number one, he has it. He has what it takes. He probably doesn't tell you that much, but he says he has what it takes. That's the ultimate compliment that you can get from your father.
Hey, that's great. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with the last segment of the show.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Welcome to Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. You're right in the middle of all the action. Daytona International Speedway, the airport, One Daytona, Florida's newest entertainment and retail destination, and of course, the world's most famous beach. You'll love our newly remodeled 1- and 2-bedroom suites, along with our popular King Studios. You won't need your full kitchen, as Homewood Suites Daytona serves up complimentary breakfast and evening social. It's like home away from home. Go to HomewoodDaytona.com for Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty. Thank you so much. We got Larry up here in just a second. And don't forget the Legends of Racing radio on YouTube. You can watch it live on YouTube, or an hour later you can watch it on Facebook. And you can, in fact, I just watched last week's show the other day on Facebook, and it was really a good show. He did real good. We got Larry here. Larry, what you got?
Hi, guys. Hi, Dylan, and thanks for being here. It's a very interesting show. What's your number on your race car? Do you have different ones that you ran, or?
Yeah, so for obviously with the different car owners I've driven for, I'll drive with their number. But my dad's number that I kind of carried on for my own race cars was number 16. He got that number from Wayne Lockett. He used to run late models here around Florida, and he would help him. And kind of, I guess he asked. I wasn't around for this, but he kind of asked Wayne, like, "Hey, can I, steal the number?" And he was like, "Absolutely." And so he's been running number 16 since then.
Very cool, man. That's the same number Jared Goff wears for the Detroit Lions. I had to get that in there because we did kick that Green Bay ass again last night, and I'm very proud.
And
of
the
that
Lions, that's something to be. That's something to be happy about.
We got a chance for the first time in my whole life.
Boy, that's great.
But anyways, Dylan, I think you have an excellent career in front of you, man. Just stay the course, and I'm not going to give you any advice. You got plenty of that coming. But good luck to you, young man.
Thank
and
you very much.
We'll watch you race.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Is there any place that you haven't raced yet that you'd like, or driven yet that you'd like to do?
Like you said, Indy, of course.
Yeah.
But Bristol, that's one of them for sure.
Boy.
Bristol, yeah.
Okay, do they have a driving experience there?
I believe so. I
they
believe
do.
They do it, yep.
They used to.
Boy, that would be a hoot, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? I understand that you lose track of whether you're on the front stretch or the back stretch after a while.
Yeah, I almost had the chance to give rides at North Wilkesboro on
Really?
All-Star Weekend, but something happened, and because I was supposed to go from Talladega to North Wilkesboro, and the flights got messed up, so I ended up not going.
I'll
but
be darned. Boy, that
yeah,
would have been nice,
That would
huh?
have been really cool, yeah.
Now we got Bowman Gray coming on board.
Bowman Gray, yeah.
Ooh.
That'd be fun to give rides at.
Yeah, that'd be a trip.
Yeah,
A blast
absolutely.
from the past. You know,
Yeah.
something totally different, out of the realm,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, you got a lot of hurt feelings at North Wilkesboro
Yeah.
and at Bowman Gray.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of bumping and banging. Nothing personal.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so do you think you could hang in there and bump and bang with the best of them?
I like to think I could. I think if, obviously equipment is a big thing of it. I think with the right equipment, anybody can do it. But,
Right.
I like to think I could.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Kyle Larson, Lyle Carson. But was there anybody when you were growing up that you just looked up to?
To be honest with you, of course, absolutely my dad.
Oh, yeah.
But my dad was never big into, watching NASCAR really because he was kind of doing his own racing. But, me and my brother had the NASCAR video games. And
Oh, really?
Of course, my dad being number 16, I'd always, pick number 16.
Yeah.
So I know Greg Biffle's not the greatest ever, but it was always just cool because I was always picking him.
He's coming back this year
He
for
is,
a couple
yeah.
races.
Yep,
Oh,
I'd
I'll be
always,
darned.
Yeah.
always pick him in the NASCAR games because he was number 16.
Oh, that's
but
neat.
The 3M card always looked cool.
Then he was out there with his helicopter helping those folks in
Yep,
Western North
absolutely.
Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a guy! What a guy! Super good, super duper guy. Yeah. So that's we're just excited about where you're going to end up. I can't wait to see if 2025 has anything waiting for it.
Yeah, I hope so. So.
That'd be super. Yep. And so you get your package together on potential sponsors. And just a way of promoting yourself. Like Tim Richmond was a great self-promoter. Evil Knievel was probably the best self-promoter. And if you follow him.
Yeah, got to get some white leather going on, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Speaking of Evil Knievel, we have our version of Evil Knievel, Dangerous Dan.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking last night, Buzz.
Yep.
He and his wife were in a motorcycle accident, several months ago after he did the show with us last time. And they're healing up, and he'd like to come back to the show, Buzz.
Oh, man, that'd be
I mean,
fantastic.
this guy was equally.
Yeah, Doug Danger, what a great guy.
Yeah.
A really strong testimony of his faith, too.
Every bit as talented as Evil. Just never had the marketing concept, and was considering doing another jump before he got hurt here. So I don't know where he stands with that after this accident, but it was a pretty severe motorcycle accident. Of course, he talked like it was his day at the beach when I was talking to him on the phone. It happens. Well, how bad is it? How bad's the road rash? He said, well, it's pretty bad all the way up.
Oh,
all the way up
gosh.
my back, from the ankle all the way up.
Ooh.
And his wife was with him too, so bad deal. On a motorcycle.
Hope he gets better. He'll be back here. It'd be
Yeah.
super.
What a guy, though. What some stories.
Yeah, very good speaker too.
Yeah.
Well, we got a couple of folks we have to say thank you to. We got Danny on the board over here. She's doing a super job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got Mike on the applause sign, and little brother Joe is back on the
Yeah.
applause sign.
Yeah.
Hey.
A blast for the past.
He came out of retirement.
Big Joe.
Awesome. And we thank Rich and Larry and Tony for their questions. And yeah, sure to thank you. And this is the neatest thing right here. Our old friend Doc Batzelier brought this over. This is a record album from 1957. It's High Fidelity, which is probably one of the first hi-fi records ever. It's interviews with the Indy 500 drivers from 1957. And he's had it all these years, and he's given it to us. And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's really neat. We'll do something really, really good with that.
I'm sure Mario will be on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Here are the actual crashes, they say, on this. Yeah, that's pretty neat. But, we're just thrilled that you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm happy to be doing it. It's a lot of
That's
fun.
great.
And we wish you a lot of success. I think you if you do the right things, I think you can make it. I really do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mr. Lebeau, you've done a good job on this kid here. Yeah. You've done real good.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Owen Hopes, our living legend right here.
All right.
There he is.
Speaking of,
Yeah, can't forget Owen.
There's only one Olin in the world.
Yeah.
And the mold was broken.
Well,
I mean, he
I'll tell
goes
you.
back. He goes back to beach racing. I mean, he goes back to climbing underneath the fences to make the race, to
Yep.
watch the race, and
Going
work-
to drag racing back in the early 50s.
Yeah.
early,
Very
early
cool.
50s. And they treated him like a rock star at the show last week, too. Wherever he went, he had all these groupies hanging around him.
Yeah.
They were all
Yeah.
on their walkers.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of guys in our audience here that are racing enthusiasts. We have Doc, who was an excellent motorcycle driver.
Yeah, that's
hey,
right.
Doc, he doesn't even know we're talking about him.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about you, Doc.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, well, we just can't wait to see where you are a year from now.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We'll get you back if you'll come.
Absolutely,
That'd be
anytime.
awesome.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
get me and my dad together on here.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Have
Yeah.
to keep us separated though. Would be fighting.
Yeah.
And let us know who we have to call to get a discount for 4 or 5 of us to
Yeah.
come out for Daytona.
Yeah,
Yep, we'll take care of you.
That'd be
know.
awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be super duper.
yeah.
Yeah, I've ridden a few times, and it was a hoot and a half. And it's funny, when you're in the car and you go down pit road, it was the exact same experience that I had done, 30 years before when we had our little dirt tracker. It's still, all those feelings came back.
Yeah.
And you never lose that.
Yep.
Yep. Well, we're about done for today. We'll have
Yeah.
a really, really neat show next week. I'm really excited about it. And so I hope you all can make it. And how about a special round of applause here for Dylan
Dylan
LeBeau.
LeBeau, ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen,
guys.
here he is.
Remember, you were here.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
The Legends of Racing radio show originates live from the very spot where